Hey guys, Dustin Byerley here. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about brand experience, the experience that people have when they interact with your business, when they come into your store, when they come to your website. It's something that a lot of businesses overlook. I'm sure we've all had the experience when we walk into a place and the people are acting weird, there's a chip off the wood or something looks kind of funky or it has a weird smell and everything else is good, but that ruins it for you. So that experience of what the customer experiences is the topic today. Sometimes as founders or business owners, we can get so myopic in our own heads about who we are and what we're doing and think that's what people are experiencing that we overlook the actual path that people are taking through engaging with our business. It's something I say a lot, but a lot of people think of brands as logos or colors or kind of visual aspects of your company. But what a brand is how people feel about you. So it's really important that you're very in touch with what the customer experience is at every touch point along the way. You can get everything right on paper, everything looks good. Someone walks in and they have a terrible experience just because of one small overlooked thing. Another thing I talk about a lot is that business is inherently a relationship. If you're going to be in business, that means you're providing value to somebody else or something else, and in return, you get resources back. So like any relationship, it needs to be managed. You need to be aware of what the other person is experiencing. And this can seem very obvious, but it's often overlooked. The other day, I had to do some driving, and being a vegetarian, there's not a lot of options. So there was like a Del Taco next to a gas station kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, I can get a bean burrito, right? So I walked into the store, and it's a very large store. And you can tell the upkeep wasn't there, right? There was like shelves and cabinets that kind of had chips off the linoleum and wood was exposed. There was water drains that you could look into that were really dirty. There were all sorts of unused cubbies and shelving and things like that out on the public facing side. So you can tell that the business used to be maybe a lot more busier than it is now, right? And part of that might be because they're not conscious of the experience that the customer's having. You walk in, you can tell it's the owner at the register. They can't afford to pay somebody to do the register. And you could see this general mindset of lack, right? And this can be one of two things. It could be mindset, or it could also be that money's just really tight. But that mindset might also be why the money's tight. You can see this a lot in maybe small to mid-sized businesses where the owner has kind of a negative or contentious mindset toward the customer. If you don't have the spirit or the resources for the upkeep of your business, over time, it's just going to descend. And the danger here is a contentious mindset. You can see this in some small to medium-sized businesses you walk into and there's handwritten notes on Sharpies, right, all over. Don't do this, only take this, right? All these rules. And it's kind of this contentious kind of energy, and it doesn't feel professional at all. So this all starts by having the right perspective and the right attitude. Business is a relationship. If you don't want to be in relationship with other people, you shouldn't be in business. And when you're in relationship with other people, that means you have to be empathetic and aware of what they're experiencing on the other side. So let's go over 5 different ways that you can be more conscious of your brand experience. So the first thing would be just first contact. If people walk into your retail environment, how does it smell? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Is it welcoming? Is the person that you meet when you walk in, are they welcoming? Are they friendly? And is it clear how they engage with your business or your service? Do they understand what to do when they come in? Is there a kiosk they walk up to? Is there a place where they sit? Is it clearly denoted exactly what they should do? And the idea here is clarity, warmth, and ease. Those 3 words. If you can apply clarity, warmth, and ease to every aspect of that first impression, we're off to a good start. And throughout this process of looking at the customer experience, you need to place yourself in that experience and also collect feedback from others. The idea is that what is this first moment? How does it feel? What does this first moment create? And the second one is environment. After that first contact, what environment do they find themselves in? Is it warm? Is it friendly? We talked about it a little bit in the first one, but you're creating an environment that's welcoming. It's something that people want to be in, and not just want to be in, but feel safe to be in, feel welcome in, and there's a deep understanding of why they're there and what's occurring. An environment can be applied in a digital sense. Say it's the website is the first point of contact, that this is kind of the navigation and just a general understanding that they understand the context of what they're doing there. And the third is the path, that once somebody actually decides they want to engage, they understand the process of how to do that, right? So on a website or in person, you might have questions that need to be answered, right? There might be different options that can be reviewed. So whatever your product or service is, there's a clear path from deciding they want to engage to the final outcome of actually becoming engaged. And it's clear how that is without any question marks floating around. It's important to understand that friction in this area creates emotional distance. It makes people kind of draw inward and not want to fully engage. So the question is, what kind of emotional experience are people having when they choose to engage? And it's all the options available to them. You need to put yourself in that situation and really look into what that experience is and have empathy for that. The fourth one is emotional safety, and they need to have a feeling that you're going to take care of them throughout the entire experience. This can come in the form of how they're communicated with. It could be guarantees. It could be anything that makes them feel that they're going to be supported throughout the entire journey. It's important to understand that safety builds trust more than features or design or anything kind of whiz-bang that you can come up with. And this is where you should ask yourself is, how can I demonstrate to them that I'm present with them through that entire experience and even after the purchase? And 5, or the last one, is the exit. It's the closing experience that people have at the end of the entire interaction. It's the feeling that people leave with, and you can manage this through thank yous, follow-up emails, checklists, any way to engage with them after the fact that feels authentic and honorable in the situation. The exit is the story that they tell themselves and other people after the experience. And even imperfect experiences can be repaired through a proper close. So this is where you ask yourself, what emotional imprint do people carry away from this experience? So those are just a few tips, some ideas of how you can kind of tune in to what the customer is experiencing. It's something that's often overlooked. Big companies tend to spend a lot of money on branding because they get why, right? Smaller to mid-sized companies often just think it's visuals or something like that. So, what I'm doing is trying to empower small and mid-sized businesses to kind of have the same tools that larger companies have. The thing is that smaller companies actually have a hidden benefit that larger companies don't, and that's personalization. Large companies kind of use templates, right? They use customer service, they recite things, and they can only get so personal, only so close with you, right? Now, Apple, I think, they were doing this really well for a large company for a long time, and I think in the last, 8 or 10 years, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. It's a little more mainstream now. It doesn't feel so personal. But before, it felt very heart-centered, and even though it was a big company, you could really connect with them still. So whatever they were doing, they did a great job of it. They never made you feel wrong for what you did. So small businesses, you really have this opportunity to make these experiences very personal, and I would take advantage of it. So it's important to remember that your brand is the emotional experience that people have with you. And when you stay aware of these 5 touch points, naturally that relationship strengthens. The core point here is to be conscious of what other people are experiencing and have empathy, put yourself in their shoes, and get really in touch, because it just takes one tiny thing to really screw things up, right? So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. My name is Dustin Byerley. I'm a brand strategist, brand developer, creative overall. I do one-on-one clarity calls, and I also kind of can evaluate your brand over a phone call also. So if you guys want to do that, there's a call here that you can book, and I will see you soon.